All right, so today we're going deep on a YouTube video
Okay.
that claims to reveal like the two biggest mistakes in Indian history.
Oh, wow.
Like decisions that if they had gone differently, it would have completely reshaped, the India we know today.
Okay, interesting.
So the video is from this channel called Brain X Mania,
Hmm.
and the title is Bharat ke Itihana di Dawn, Sabse Badi Galtiyan. ZI, #shorts, history, #Gandhi.
Hmm.
It's a pretty bold premise, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to kind of unpack this with you.
Absolutely.
So the video kind of jumps right in, and it says that the second biggest blunder
Yeah.
was Gandhi's withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement back in 1922.
Yeah.
So for people who might not be familiar with this,
Sure.
this was like a nationwide campaign of nonviolent resistance against British rule.
Right, exactly. It was a huge movement.
Yeah, and the video really emphasizes that, like, this movement was so powerful.
Hmm.
It really had the British, like, on the ropes.
Wow.
Like, it claims that India was this close to actually achieving independence, like, decades earlier than it actually did.
Interesting.
But then there's this incident in Gorakhpur
Right.
where the police fired upon these unarmed protesters,
Uh-huh.
and then, like, in retaliation, there was an attack and a police station was burned down.
Yeah, that was a turning point.
Yeah, and according to this video, that's when Gandhi made like the biggest mistake
Mm-hmm. Okay.
by withdrawing the movement after this incident.
So the video saying that he should have kept going even after the violence.
Yeah, that's right.
I see. I mean, it's easy to look back and say that, but to really get why this decision was so controversial, I think we need to understand a little bit about Satyagraha,
Yeah.
which was Gandhi's whole philosophy of nonviolent resistance.
Right.
And it wasn't just about avoiding violence, physically.
Mhm.
It was this whole idea of moral ascendancy,
Mhm.
like winning over the hearts and minds of even your oppressors.
So for Gandhi, the violence that happened in Gorakhpur,
Right.
it wasn't just like a tactical setback. It was like this fundamental like blow to the very soul of the movement,
I see what you mean.
He felt like it tarnished that moral high ground that Satyagraha was all about.
Absolutely. And you can see how he might have worried that the movement could descend into chaos.
Yeah.
And completely lose its way. So even though some people see withdrawing the movement as this huge missed opportunity,
Mhm.
you got to remember that Gandhi's decision was really rooted in this deep commitment to Satyagraha and its power to actually transform society.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes you think about the decisions that leaders have to make
Definitely.
and how these moments where history could have gone a completely different way.
For sure.
But this video goes back even further,
Okay.
all the way back to 1191,
Wow.
to what it calls the biggest mistake in Indian history.
All right. So what happened back then?
So this is the first battle of Terrain,
Okay.
and it involves Prithviraj Chauhan, the Rajput king of Delhi.
Mm-hmm.
He won this decisive victory against Muhammad Ghori, who was invading.
Oh, wow. I vaguely remember this.
Right. And so the video claims that Prithviraj made a huge error
Okay.
by sparing Ghori's life.
He let him go after defeating him?
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty bold.
Right. Like, it argues that if Prithviraj had just, gotten rid of Ghori right then and there,
Mm-hmm.
he could have prevented centuries of these invasions that
Yeah.
happened after and the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate.
Right, the Muslim dynasty that ruled over huge parts of India for over 3 centuries.
Yeah, for a really long time.
I see.
So it's like this really major what-if moment.
Yeah, definitely. But it's important to keep in mind the context here, right?
Mhm.
Like the Rajputs had this very strict code of conduct
Okay.
that really emphasized chivalry and honor.
Mm-hmm.
So sparing a defeated enemy, especially one who had pleaded for mercy,
Right.
was seen as like the mark of a true warrior.
Wow. So even though it seems crazy to us now,
Yeah,
back then it would have been like the honorable thing to do.
exactly. And this just shows how these decisions that might seem really obvious to us looking back
Mhm.
were actually shaped by the values and the beliefs of that time.
Yeah, it's wild how a decision that was made based on like the morals of the time
Right.
could have accidentally led to this huge shift in power.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder about the unintended consequences of our actions.
Definitely.
And it's tempting to get caught up in all these what ifs.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But we have to remember that history is so complex. It's
Hmm.
this tapestry of interconnected events, and it's really hard to say for sure
Right.
that one single decision could have completely changed everything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's intriguing to think about, but sometimes it can oversimplify things a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like this whole deep dive has really made me think differently about history,
Me too.
like how these small moments can really have such a huge ripple effect.
Absolutely. History is full of these turning points.
Hmm.
And even though we can't change the past,
Right.
exploring these what if scenarios can really help us understand the forces that shaped our present.
Yeah, totally.
It's a way to engage with history on a whole new level.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
So, listeners, we just explored two of these pivotal moments in Indian history
Mm-hmm.
that were presented as these huge mistakes that changed the course of India.
Right.
And even though we'll never know for sure what might have happened,
Yeah.
I think these mistakes really make us think about how choices and values
Mm-hmm.
and these unintended consequences all come together to shape history. You know?
Absolutely. It's a reminder that history is not just a series of facts.
Right.
It's a story of human decisions and actions and all the complexities that come with them.
Yeah. And it's a story that's still being written.
Exactly. That's what makes it so fascinating.
Sure.
We're all part of shaping the future in ways we can't even imagine.
That's a really good point to end on.
Thanks. I think so too.
I hope everyone listening will kind of take that away and think about it a bit.
Yeah, me too.
So till next time, stay curious.
And keep exploring those what if scenarios.
Exactly. See ya.
See